Cancer, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Now, this is a general reading, my friends, so if it doesn't resonate for you, don't force it. Check out your other placements so that you can get a more complete picture. And if you'd like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, let's get started for Cancer. What is the current energy around Cancer for the week ahead? Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, we're seeing Unfinished Symphony and Truth Be Told. Wow, okay. Interesting. Okay, so what that feels like for me, Cancer, for you is that there's something that needs closure. And before you can have that closure, it's almost like there's a truth bomb here. That there's something here that is going to reveal the truth to you about a situation that may not have sufficient closure. You may have questions that have been unanswered for some time or just recently. But there's definitely something here that has this sort of energy around it that says there's an incomplete lesson. There's a lack of closure. There's a need to make amends. That moving on right now is difficult because something is lingering to cause doubt. You haven't quite had the opportunity here to close something behind you. The door behind you is wide open still. And it's interesting. What is left unresolved for you right now, Cancer? Where do you feel that energy of something being unresolved, where there isn't closure, where you still have unanswered questions? You know, it's very interesting. The truth needs to be told. Something here is needing truth. That is probably why the door has been left open. In my mind, I'm sort of seeing this like fence with a gate, and the gate is swinging open because there's still a lesson to be learned here. Something sort of still needs some honesty. There may be a part of this that involves a bit of denial, and there may need to be a willingness to be transparent and to be open to receiving the truth about this. It's very interesting because there's also this idea here, like that feeling of denial comes up for me, and I'm also feeling this question of like, are you willing to hear the truth, or would you rather it always sort of be a mystery, because then you can fill in the blanks and say, well, this happened because of blank, and perhaps that gives you some kind of comfort to leave that gate open, because if the gate's open, then the situation's not over. Do you know what I mean? If the gate's open, then it's sort of like I'm open to receiving more of whatever this is. And it's interesting because it sort of makes me feel like, are you willing to hear the truth? Are you willing to sort of tell the truth, hear the truth? Is communication open or closed for you in terms of speaking and listening? This is very intriguing. Let's jump into the tarot cards and see what they will expand on this. How will we see this situation occurring for Cancer? What does it involve? Who are the main players here? I feel like, oh, interesting. So there's the Seven of Pentacles coming out. So that makes me feel like you're at a place where I heard a wonderful expression of, is the juice worth the squeeze? I heard another tarot reader say that on YouTube, and it stuck with me. Is the juice worth the squeeze, right? That is a really profound question to ask yourself. Like, is it worth it? At what cost do you keep this gate open, right? And are you willing to actually hear or speak the truth if this energy returns? And it feels like there is something that needed closure that is maybe coming back for closure. And are you willing to do this closure exercise on both sides of it, speaking the truth and listening to the truth? And then what will you decide to do? So you're sort of at this moment of Seven of Pentacles, and then we see the King of Pentacles come out. So to me, this could represent your energy or the energy of the other person involved in this situation with you. So the King of Pentacles in the upright position to me says hard work. It says commitment, it says honesty and integrity, and sort of this idea of having all the tools available to create something in the material world that is of value, and that is sort of something that is a creative collaboration with your higher self. So how does this relate to your overall reading? It makes me feel like whatever this unfinished symphony represents to you, the energy of the other person involved in this feels very much like a positive intention. However, the Judgment card next to them in reverse says to me that whatever they have to say may not be something you want to hear. This Judgment card coming out in the reverse tells me that you may not want to hear the truth. Just like I was feeling when I was just looking at those oracle cards, it kind of makes me feel like you'd rather keep it open to interpretation. You might not want to hear what they have to say. You might not want to hear the truth about this, Cancer. This is very interesting. The Moon card appearing on the bottom of the deck. So you could be dealing with an earth sign or a water sign like you, but this Moon card is Pisces energy, not Cancer. So it's interesting. Seeing the Moon in reverse next to the Judgment card in reverse tells me that there is something here that you are resistant to. I don't think you want closure. You know, the energy I'm feeling here is that you'd rather keep this open-ended, because there's almost this idea of comfort being in hiding behind the mask or staying in denial. There's a level of comfort there, and you could be sort of at a place where you'd rather not be completely open or have anyone be completely open with you when it comes to this situation. You know, it's kind of like you don't want to know. What you don't know, you'd rather not know, and what you truly feel, you'd rather not reveal. And it's interesting because I feel like the bottom line here for you is fear. This is a moment where you are having a difficulty separating yourself from something that could be offering you closure towards a relationship or an experience, but it's like that creates some fear and anxiety for you. You don't want to necessarily see this get closed off. I think what I'm feeling is that you have a desire to see this move forward. And that if you hear the truth and accept the truth, that means it's over. And there's a part of you that's like, but I don't want this to be over. Yeah, you don't want to see it be over. You'd rather see it move forward. You want this. I think you're more uncomfortable with the idea of closure, and you're more comfortable with the idea of it's open-ended, because if it's open-ended, then it's not over. You know, you have an attachment to something here and fear the idea of closure. So that's very interesting, Cancer. I feel like whoever this individual is, or if it's an experience that you don't want to see end, a time in your life that you're like, but it can't be over. How can that be over? Let's just pretend it's still an option. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. For some of you, it might be a person, but for others of you, I think it's actually a direction where it's like there's a part of you that's like, I don't want to close the door on that option yet. I'm going to keep that option open. And yet there could be a lot of sort of information or There could be a lot of things happening around you showing you that this path isn't for you anymore. But I think you're having a bit of fear when it comes to the idea of releasing this path, releasing this opportunity, releasing this experience, or releasing this person. You want to keep the option open. And yet the reading is sort of guiding you to let it finish, let it complete. And, seeing the Judgment card to me says, you're about to begin something new. Seeing the Moon card tells me that you're about to be reborn. Yes, they're both in the reversed position, but still their energies are present. So I think that you have the opportunity to begin something new, but there's a part of you that doesn't want to completely sever this past connection to either an experience, an opportunity, a person, a relationship, because you wanted it to work. You wanted it to move forward. You wanted to make a commitment. You wanted to put in the effort. And I think you've already put in a lot of effort. And the idea of it just sort of ending brings up fear for you. However, there is something about not denying the truth in your reading as well that could really serve you moving forward. Wow, very interesting. I'm going to leave it at that for you, my dear Cancer friends. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Sending you so much love and light. Take care.